Hi, I'm Mike Litton. The testimonial you're about to hear is from Michael Huffman, who's a client of ours for the last 5 years. He and his wife Elaine and I met about 5 years ago when they called on a sign out in front of one of my listings. We sold their starter home for them and also represented them in the purchase of their dream home, which a couple months ago they called me and said it was time to sell their dream home. That's 5 years later. And we listed their house for sale and sold it in just a few days for $40,000 above list price. So here's Michael Huffman. If it's okay, just talking a little bit about us working together. We've worked together now for 5 years, right? I originally met you and Elaine and the girls back when you were in your old house that we listed and sold for you, and then we helped you buy the place on Butterfield. And you called me a few months ago and it was time to move. And so we listed your house for sale and got it sold. We sold it for $40,000 above list price. Tell me a little bit, what were your impressions of working with us?
From the get-go, Elaine and I were reminiscing on how we first stumbled upon each other. And I think we were daydreaming pretty much. We were looking at some homes that really weren't in our price range or anything like that. And we stumbled upon a house that we liked and it had your name attached to it. And that's when we began our conversations. And so it was really, I think, a year or two later that we realized we wanted to work with someone that worked with beautiful homes and had a track record of success in selling those homes, but also in finding families those homes. So the initial impression was we felt like you were a little out of our reach. Like we would work our way up to a quality real estate agent like you, and we do the first few on our own kind of thing. And so we were privileged that you kind of said yes to us when we made the decision to sell our little townhome and look for something that could welcome, the girls at that time, which initially we didn't have. So we were so thrilled that you just said yes, gave us the opportunity to work with you. And then as we began to work with you, you were an extension of our family. You were always available to us. And not just always on the work related stuff. I remember phone calls I made to you where I was just stressed out of my mind. And like my dad always did, you talked me off the ledge. And
I remember those calls.
See reason. I was sitting, it was in front of the mall. I remember stepping out and thinking, I am in over my head and I'm going to bow out. And you were able to just you just calm me down and get me thinking straight again. And it all worked out because we got the house that we loved, and we spent many years in growing the girls up, and a lot of fun Christmases that we celebrated there. And then when it was time again, this last time working with you couldn't have been easier, couldn't have been smoother.
Well, thank you, buddy. Thank you. It's been an honor to work with you guys. And this is a relationship that I think we'll have for the rest of our lives. And I couldn't love you guys more if I tried. So that really means a lot to me to have you say that. So we were standing I talked to you about this the other day. We were standing in your garage and you mentioned to me that working with me was like working with Apple Corporation. And I asked you what you meant by that. Do you remember that conversation?
I do. Yeah.
Because I didn't quite understand the specifics. Right. And then you end up telling me something that is one of the nicest things anybody's ever said to me in my life. I nearly hugged you. I got emotional and I was trying to kind of keep it together. You guys have my heartstrings, you know that. But that just, Michael, I'm speechless. I'm still just completely blown away by what you said. And do you mind saying it again?
Yeah. So the context to it is, I've always known Apple as a company, they don't pay a ton of money for advertisements. Right. They always use this word of mouth advertisement. And you kind of get that experience when you're there, where you're like, they just treat you like family, or they take care of you. And so then what do? You turn around next time someone needs to get something, you're going to give them that recommendation. And so that type of word of mouth advertisement comes a lot further when it comes from a family member or a friend.
Yeah.
And that's why it feels like working with you is, if anybody was interested in getting house sold, getting a house bought, is they got to work with you, because the experiences that I've had with you, those phone calls that I've had with you, the conversations that we've had, and the time that you've spent with me and my family in helping build our futures up, we want that for other people. We want people to experience the care that someone put into us. And so, and that's kind of at the heart of it. I remember just feeling overwhelmed with the care that you had for us. And it's like, that's what I want for everyone. Everyone should be able to experience that. And especially a really vulnerable time.
Yeah.
When you're buying a home, when you're selling a home, it is high stress.
It is.
It's stress on you as a person. It's stress on your relationship. It's stress on your family. And you need someone that recognizes that and can take a soft approach and a familial kind of level of care. And you've always done that for us.
I appreciate that, buddy. So here's the self-serving thing, okay? The selfish thing. So would you recommend that people work with me on buying and selling a home? Buying or selling a home?
Heck yeah. They'd be foolish not to.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
We
I
are
know
in a much
shameless plug, but right.
No, hey, you gotta, I mean, if people don't know your worth yet, I'll sing it from the rooftops. Is not only are you just darn good at what you do, and the connections that you formed in the business over the years that we have reaped the benefits of it.
Yeah.
But just that, like I just said, you take care of us like we're family, and that probably means even more than the structure that you've built.
Thank you, bud. That means a lot to me. I'm getting goosebumps just talking with you about this, especially the conversations that we had where you stepped outside, because you told me where you were. Like, I knew exactly where you were standing, right? And it just going back to that is giving me goosebumps. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity. I'm glad you guys called me that day, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to work with you and to get to know you. I love you guys, and you know that. So that was Michael Huffman, one of our favorite clients. If you are interested in buying or selling a property, or you know somebody who is, give us a call today, 760-522-1227, 760-522-1227. We'll take great care of you, just like we did the Huffmans. I hope you have an amazing day. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.